course, one of the biggest movies that came out from Disney, other than Indiana Jones, which I'll probably talk about at a later date, is Pixar's Elementals. We have this from Screen Rant. Elemental's box office is one of Pixar's lowest debuts in 3 decades since the first Toy Story. The newest Pixar movie, Elemental, becomes one of the studio's lowest box office debuts in 3 decades since the Toy Story's initial release. No, I don't want to sign up for your newsletter. Where are the stats here? Let me take a pause of that. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Elemental debuted at $11.8 million on Friday and is projected to earn between $28 million and $32 million through its opening box office weekend. Depending on where it falls, this could be the lowest earning opening weekend Pixar has had since Toy Story's $29 million take in 1995. So let's bring up that fact, right? So, Toy Story, the first one, 1995. Okay? Opening weekend, we see here, this is thenumbers.com. As you can see here, 29 million opening weekend. That's 15.1% of the total gross. Just want to point out here the budget for this movie, 30 million. Okay. That was the budget for the movie. 30 million. They almost made that back in the opening weekend. And of course, worldwide, they made almost 360 million. That's a lot. Whew. Especially in 1995. Right? We're not accounting for inflation here, right? There's no inflation numbers crunched whatsoever. Okay? So keep that in mind. Okay? Now, let's bring up Elemental. Right? Let's see how they did. Because that article was from a while ago. Their opening weekend. Down here. 29 million. But let's take a look at their budget. 200 million. Their budget was 200 million. And their opening weekend was only 30 million. Yikes. And right now their worldwide box office is they're not even breaking even on this. But let's think about this here for a second. It does say the production budget was 200 million. Imagine what the marketing budget was. It's probably the same, if not more than that, right? So they're probably losing a shit ton of money. Like, what's going on, Disney? They're not making the classics like they used to. And let's keep this in fact, right? This made 29 million, the same, right, as Toy Story. But Toy Story was in 1995. We're not accounting for inflation or anything. Like, oh boy. It's not looking good. But you might be asking yourselves, hey, like, it's Pixar. How is this movie not doing well? Right? There's an answer. It's because of Ron DeSantis. Ugh. I hate that guy. Ugh. Disney's movies' low box office sales blamed on Ron DeSantis. It should be blamed on Ron DeSantis. He came out and said, hey, don't see Elemental. I remember that press conference, don't you? I remember when he came out and said, don't see that movie, it's woke. Remember that? The movie has been slammed as woke by its detractors for including a non-binary character. Ron DeSantis hates those characters. At a time when Ron DeSantis has been embroiled in a culture war with the corporation over the Don't Say Gay bill, which is a bill that does not have that phrase in it. You can say gay all you want in Florida. Just can't teach the kids how to have gay sex or explicit sex. Some conservatives are suggesting the raging war has affected the opening of the new animated movie Elemental. Pixar's latest movie had an estimated budget of $200 million, but reportedly took in just $29.6 million in its opening weekend. That's right, Ron DeSantis. Killing Disney, one thing at a time. Either side always blames the terrible box office on one thing, right? If you listen to someone on the right, they'll be, oh, it's too woke. No one wants to see woke movies. A fair point. And then on the left, it's like, well, Ron DeSantis, I guess in their eyes, banned all gay people, so of course they don't want to see the movie. Which, I mean, sure. But in reality, it's a whole plethora of things. I mean, aren't box offices, haven't they been low since COVID? Why go to the movies when you can just wait a couple months and this will be on your streaming service? What's the point of going to a movie anymore? I think that's something we should look at. And yeah, we should look at the quality of these movies and, do people want to see it? Do people want to take their kids to it? It's another thing, but to blame one thing or the other, I think it's a plethora of things. But it is really funny to see people just make up excuses. Blame Ron DeSantis for everything, for all of Disney's failures. It's now just Ron DeSantis' fault for what he did in Florida. It's all Ron DeSantis' fault. It's so funny. Every movie that Disney posts now makes and it fails, that's that governor from Florida banning the word gay. It's just so funny and ridiculous. But it is, funny to see these movies. How do I want to say this? These movies are not doing well. You can blame Ron DeSantis, but I think it's the quality of movies, remake after remake. And with Elemental, it's it's an original piece, but it feels like there's no originality to it. It just feels kind of forced. I'm sure there's some creative aspects in it. Plus, you got the whole whenever they focus on a non-binary character, the writings went to that instead of building a good story and making it interesting. I don't know. That's just my opinion. And it's just funny when they fight and they blame each other. The movie's not doing well because it's too woke. Yeah, okay. The movie's not doing well because it's Ron DeSantis' fault. That's even funnier, but sure, I guess. It's just ridiculous now. Movies, TV shows, content. It always has an excuse for failing.